Welcome.
I can't keep a serious face.
Okay, we're supposed to enter.
I didn't.
It's supposed to be dramatic. Chloe, you know,
I didn't.
just
I
forget
didn't
it.
follow
Just forget
very
it.
well.
All right, Toby, Chloe, Slater. What's up, y'all?
I think we need to work on the entrance. We want to do an entrance.
I was actually fine with it. Because it kind of looked like we were moving, or like the scene was moving into us, and you were a part of the scene.
No, she wasn't a part of anything. She didn't. Chloe,
didn't
you're gonna have to be
participate.
down. You're gonna have to be down for some of our antics in the future.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I think it's
How is everybody?
yeah.
How are you, Slater?
I think I've crossed the line. Now, I'm not in my 40s yet. Obi, he experienced it. Was that in the pandemic? Technically, it was like a year after, but still there was like funky spots to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was always told that your body is not supposed to break down until you're in your 40s. And in this last week, I had two big doozies. My doctor told me that I had to sit down because he had bad news to tell me that I have allergies for the first time in my life. So I sound horrendous, which is good for this job. And now my back hurts, and we're supposed to be doing this really cool thing tonight. I'm not going to be able to participate in.
What do you mean? The company Andretti race car in kart going?
That sounds
indoor
awful
go-karting.
to somebody that can't move from like their mid to lower back.
What's going on? Did you go to the doctor?
Yeah. The doctor said that
He
this
said it was
just
allergies.
happens. It's that sometimes guys your age, it's just your body breaks down, bro. And then he knuckled me, and I regret that I knuckled him back because it's supposed to be a positive thing. You're not supposed to be like, you're dying, knuckles. Like that's not how that happens.
You're not dying. He just said that you have allergies, bro.
All right.
You just have to embrace
really
your
escalated
age.
things.
Embrace it.
I'm trying to take the proper steps, which is why if you're watching this video, you can see that my skin, you can almost see through to my bones. I'm so pale.
Here, let me
And
do
you two look great. Is there a filter I can put on?
No,
Thank you.
Look,
Mine
I think I
is,
can do that. Look at
wow.
that. Look
Stop.
at that.
At least I don't have any blemishes. Outside of that, it almost, those people that look like they just got a peel? I feel like I should just tell people that I got a peel. So that way it's like, oh,
why don't we put some self tanner on you? I love
know.
a good self tanner.
He doesn't look bad. He looks fantastic.
Doesn't at all.
And
You
just,
do not,
just,
Slater.
Just get out in the sun for a little bit and I don't know, wash your car. That'll give you some sun.
Oh, there you go.
Do you guys believe in a base? Do you believe that if you get a base tan or a burn, then you're set for the rest of the summer? Because a lot of people are coming into it right now. They're like, oh, summertime is only in Florida. It's like a week away. But the rest of the world is like, oh, you get a good base and then you're totally good.
I think everyone needs to get out and sit in the sun. It's good for you. Good vitamin
know.
D. It is.
My doctor told me I should stay inside if I want to feel better.
I try to sit outside, get some fresh air.
I came naturally pigmented, so I don't even know if that's a word. Pigmented.
Pygmy.
But
Like the
pigment.
Kidman
The
is.
pigment.
I think that works. I think it's nice.
But anyways, we did want to do one of these unfiltered shows where we can kind of get a little loosey goosey. I know that there's a couple things that we wrote down. I wrote down Disney's Tron because as you watch this right now, this is soft opening week, and here in the City Beautiful in Orlando, we're so fortunate to have all these treasures in our backyard from all the entertainment. But when these rides open, you've got people who spend thousands of dollars to make their way on down to Central Florida, where we've got it in our backyard. Slater, I would say that Slater is a Disney expert.
Yep.
This is something a long time in the coming. I think 6 years ago was when they announced that Tron was going to be made, and it's officially ready to ride.
Yeah.
Well, and Slater, weren't you trying to wait in the queue, right? I feel like that was a few weeks back.
Yeah.
You were in the queue to try to get
I was
on the ride.
There were so many people. So I was in the queue trying to get on for the early advance. I was going to say screening, but like the ride. And then it just shut down and goes, nah, too many people. Sorry. So
no.
I don't, but then I was told mixed reports. Because Shanghai Disney, that was where they had the very first Tron. So that opened up, I think, a year and a half ago.
Oh,
so
really
there's
cool.
videos on YouTube of all that. And that was when everybody got excited because Tron 1982 was the first one. Who was the Russell that was in that? Not Kurt Russell. Michael, was it? Anyway, regardless, a big name was in the original one. Then they redid it in 2010. and they have another one. So that's when Disney bought the rights to it, was 2010. So they've had this in the making for 13 years.
Oh, so Disney wasn't always.
They didn't own the 1982
Have
version.
Tron.
They bought it out. So now you can watch those first two, and they are making another one that should be out in the next couple of years.
Gotcha.
and
it
I
all
to-
connects now.
Yeah, I told Chloe she should at least watch the 2010 version, which I think they did a great job. They
Yeah.
were able to bring this guy's face. Remember the facial technology they did to make what's his face look younger. But anyway, man, we can't remember
Jeff
names today.
Douglas? No, Jeff. It's a Jeff.
It is a Jeff. It is. Oh my god. But anyways, it's great because Chloe said that they're riding like on motorcycles, and I said, yeah, you got to see the
Super
movie
cool.
because that's how they ride in the movies. And
Right.
there's all these wicked angle turns that
Jeff
you
Bridges.
make. And
I
Jeff
wonder-
I had to. It was going to
Bridges.
eat me up.
I wonder if it feels.
Google the first one. The Douglas. Was it the Douglas dad? Michael Douglas dad? Go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say, I wonder if you've seen the Tron, the new ride that's out there at Magic Kingdom. I wonder if it feels any different when you're like on the roller coaster. I feel like for me, I'd be a little bit more scared, right? Because it's got to be scarier. You're lean forward. You're sitting down now on a bike.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're locked in with like a harness above you. You're locked in. It looks like at the hips.
Yeah.
And you see how, you go up and down, and it's got some drops in it. So I can't imagine, especially being in the front, you lean forward and you're like on a motorcycle going down a hill.
So they do have, it's funny that they call it handicap seating because it's definitely not. They're regular roller coaster seats they have at the way back, which I always think, as far as a roller coaster goes, the best ride is always at the back anyway.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's not all of them like that. It's just
No.
the front or
They
the
have,
first
they have
couple.
like, I think they have the 4 seats or 8 tops in each
Okay.
cart, which
Gotcha.
is the regular one where it will come down. Those are also, I think that they were being a little too sensitive with it, but they said, well, because the original ride was made for people in Shanghai Disney that are shorter. If you
Wow.
are taller, it is too much. So I'm 6'4", and I had a lot of people say it's too much. The stretch is weird, so it's an uncomfortable ride. So I should
Wow.
be sitting in the way back anyway.
I
Wow.
did not realize that. See, the way I saw the videos and pictures, I guess for me, I just didn't even see it. I saw it like you're on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
I did see somebody who was worried that they were going to be fat shamed getting on that ride. The only reason why I bring that up is because I remember when Harry Potter, now we're talking about a completely different park over at Universal, when the Harry Potter ride, and I forget what it's called, but it literally, the ride is an arm that you sit here, another person sits here, another person sits here, and it does like this. It, all while you're watching this video, but this is what it does. And there were a couple of people who couldn't fit in that ride. And you know what? I mean, hold on. While we're even talking about it, we have the free fall ride. I'm here where you see me. I'm pointing at the TV, but it's because they've been doing news coverage on the free fall drop ride on International Drive, that they're taking that down because of somebody who was overweight, who they tried to still make the ride work for that dude, and he's no longer with us.
Sure. So now everybody can just sit in the back. They could sit back with me.
So when
Yeah.
do you plan on riding it, Slater? Because today, it's a soft opening this week.
Yeah. So I have a tough time like waiting in line or for a queue and everything else. There was a lot of stuff. So there were Star Wars rides, the Rise
Yeah.
of the Resistance,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that if it wasn't for there was like a media pass where they're like, oh, you can go. And it was a year afterwards. If I didn't have that, I still wouldn't have gone on that. It's really tough. I don't like getting rejected. I don't think anybody does. So when you wake up early and you try to get in the queue and then they're
Right.
like, oh, sorry, today's booked. I try once and I'm like, I'm good with that.
And
So
it's
I
the
don't
worst
know.
gamble when it's an 80-minute wait, and then all of a sudden maybe 40 minutes left. They have to shut down the ride because of something, and now
That's
you're
it.
like, oh my god, I just wasted half my day.
Well, and now they have the fast passes and it's not fast pass. It's called, I think, Slater,
The-
correct
the
me if I'm
lightning
wrong, the
lane.
lightning
Yep.
lane or the genie
That's it.
pass.
They're called
Now
something
they're able
different
to
at every
use-
park.
Okay, gotcha. So I'm sure eventually that, right now it's a soft opening, but eventually you'll be able to get on the app and just do it that way.
How much would you pay to get on a ride? If they were like, hey, you can ride it right now, how much would you pay for it? Pay $30 to just jump right to the first 50 people?
$30 is a little steep. We just went to SeaWorld, and SeaWorld has something similar to that, where there's one of the rides where you can spend $14.
Okay.
But $14 lets you pass everybody, and $14 gets you all the way up to the front.
Per ride.
for this ride. I don't think it
Oh,
was for
yeah.
every
So
ride.
it depends on which
I
ride.
like the best ones.
Well, and to Slater's point, yeah, there's a couple rides that at Disney that well, listen, if I was rich, right, it would be one of those things where you're like, you pull out a crisp 20 and you're like, hey, buddy, get us up to the front. That's kind of what you're doing.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I have no problem if I want to sit down and eat. I have no problem trying to slip a 10. I would even do a 20 if it was a place I really wanted and wanted a
Right.
table. But I think it's because your experience there for dinner is going to be like 2 hours. And this ride is not going to be 2 hours long.
How long is it? A minute and 30 seconds?
wow,
2 minutes?
yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, I would say somewhere in there.
I'd have to Google it.
Yeah, it's probably that. I
I'm
mean,
gonna Google it.
people haven't been complaining about the length of the ride. I know the Guardians of the Galaxy one that I went on really
90
impressed.
seconds.
90 seconds. You were right on.
Wow.
So
Under 90
So
seconds.
to wait 80 minutes for 90 seconds of thrill. But you know what? It's not just 90 seconds of thrill, because really what it is it's the ability to tell the story. Well, when I wrote it, blah, 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 or even get the picture, the memory making picture at the end.
Wait, let me just make sure I'm correcting myself. It says 90 minutes, but then some are saying 2 minutes. So it must just, I'm not sure the exact time, but 90 to 2 minutes.
yeah, maybe they
regardless.
sneezed and their
90
stopwatch stopped.
90 seconds? Not 90 minutes. Right?
90 seconds. Did I say 90 minutes?
Come off that,
90 seconds.
come off that ride
to
with a heart attack.
90 seconds to 2 minutes. There we go. So it's somewhere in between that range. It
Now
looks
that's
like
the ride I would pay for. 90
Yeah.
minutes.
Oh no.
No, I would die. I would throw up
You
all
come
over
off
myself.
I would too. I did
Yeah.
one spin yesterday in a chair in the boss's office with Obi and Slater, and I was like, I can't do it.
I threw up on the Cat in the Hat ride before. Yeah, at Universal.
It
It's
is.
the
It is
spins.
wobbly. Yeah, it is.
It's the
yeah.
spins.
Yeah, it's too much. It takes me back. It takes me back to a simpler time.
What's the other one over at Universal? Men in Black. They spin a lot on
Yeah,
that ride too,
yeah.
and
They
that
do.
I love it. But
So
I don't
if I
spin well.
so if I could encourage y'all, because I used to be a thrill ride seeker. Now that I'm older and I've had 2 open heart surgeries, there's just now I look at rides and I'm like, nah. But the one ride that I did ride at Universal, the Velocicoaster, am I saying that
Jurassic
right? It's
Park
in Jurassic,
one.
Jurassic
my
Park. That
God.
drops, right? It's like kind of like Tower of Terror.
Oh, it does. It does. So people like my daughter, people who don't like drops, like, but if I could just tell you, just try it. I'll never ride another ride that felt so amazing. But yeah, man, it takes you through moments where you're like, yeek. But to the point that I think you'll really enjoy yourself. So even if you're not a roller coaster person, I would give it a shot. And after you do that, you can do anything.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll
Sweet.
try it. Just not the teacups.
All right. Okay.
Teacups.
Those are the
I can't
best.
spin anything that spins. I'm one spin and I'm half a spin. And
It's
I'm done.
always been like that, or
Always. I love roller coasters. I love them. I have no problem
But just
flipping
spinning.
upside down, any of that stuff. But the second you get me on like a thing that spins, like a teacup or even like a merry-go-round, whoo, not good.
I'm thinking about that. What was that thing even called? It was usually always like super hot because it was made of steel on a playground, and it would have the different
Oh,
partitions.
Oh,
and you
yes.
could spin. That was like the most severe.
The twirly whirl.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
that
it
would
is.
have been your hell.
Oh,
Oh.
yes.
You ever seen the people like they attach like a 4-wheeler to it to get the ultimate like,
What?
and then they
Mm.
spin, and people normally like fly out of those things.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, we run in pretty severe crews. You know, it's like X Games every single day.
All right. Okay. So let's pivot. We have something that's called Springs and Strings. I hope you guys are okay with just talking about really fast how it is sold out. There are a lot of times on the radio station where I'll even say it live on the air where I'm like, y'all, I'm not trying to cause a panic. I'm not trying to make, in marketing, there's ways that you kind of drum things up to make everybody so excited.
Mhm.
But there are a lot of our events that they sell out. It's just a fact. It's not even us trying to, be into ourselves. But anyways, so same thing with Springs and Strings. It's now sold out.
It is March 31st. Dalton Dover will be joining us. I had the chance to see Dalton a few different times, actually, at the Country Radio Seminar that I was at in Nashville last week. He is phenomenal. I showed Obi some videos. Slater, I need to show you some, like goosebumps voice. The range and his vocals are incredible. And
Yeah.
so I can't wait for you all to get to see him here at the end of March.
Yeah, and we bring it up because if you listen to this, you actually have right now, what's today's date? So we're recording this the 21st.
Yeah.
You have the next week to actually jump on the K92.3 app and K923Orlando.com to win sold out tickets. So it's not like it's sold out. Like it's that you can actually still win them, so you can be a part of it. And I pitched an idea that Obi, you don't know. Chloe was in the room, but I pitched an idea that got rejected. I said, what if we do kayak chats with Dalton Dover? So he doesn't have to be in the water, but you guys are in the kayak and then you're just having a good hangout session. And apparently he didn't like the, he didn't like who doesn't want to have a good kayak chat out on the water? And then I realized, so we saw baby alligators in that water.
But people kayak though, correct? And pull up their boats.
Yeah. Dalton is he's a larger guy.
I will also, if you've never been in a kayak, regardless of size, they will easily tip if you don't know what you're doing, right?
Like, I mean, just getting in, just climbing into one. If you don't know what you're doing, then you end up in the water.
So I think that's why, yes, people that stay in their kayaks, yeah, they don't care about alligators, but ones that are a little worried that they might tip over. Isn't it mating season all the time for alligators?
I don't know if it's all the time, but I it is right now.
Yeah.
With the spring comes the
Okay.
I was gonna try to come up with something.
No.
With the spring comes the flings.
Hey,
Right?
can
Like
I say this though? We'll have your tickets. They're right now in the K92.3 app. But also next week, I'm just winking and doing one of those that we may have more for you too. So
No, really?
yes.
Okay.
I'm glad
That's
you
cool.
told us you were winking. I was like, she's having a stroke.
Oh, yeah.
She's
No,
so
I was-
young.
Half
you know,
your
when you
face
wink,
was
you don't
going
want to
droopy.
admit, but just be on the lookout for next week. There's more to come.
Yeah. Everybody
That's
can
my
wink.
That's my wink.
I can
Yeah.
wink. Now I can't whistle, but I can wink.
All right. What else did we have that we wanted to bring on this Unfiltered really quick?
Can we talk about your iPod and because you and Slater,
You're going back in
I'm
time.
26, so we can go back in time for just a moment. Ob, we talked about this yesterday. Ob, Slater, myself in a meeting and got down the rabbit hole, and so Ob decided to bring in his iPod to show me today, along with a beeper, so I could see what a beeper looks like. I'm 26, and so I grew up with an iPod. We had those, but beepers weren't really a thing, or if they were, I don't really remember them.
Yeah. So first thing, this is when Apple came out with the iPod Video, and this is the one that you could store, tons of videos and music videos. So I have movies and everything stored on this. Unfortunately, I can't get it to turn back on. It's been charging all morning. I can't get it to turn back on.
Oh, no way.
Probably because the last time it was turned on was in 2011.
Mhm.
And then we were telling Chloe about this form of communication back in the day. You guys remember getting news on this particular one? You could get news, sports updates. Yeah, this
Wow.
was an expensive
So
one.
you had like so the ones you have are the next generation of both the iPod and the pager.
Right. Because even to Slater's point, yeah, this one you could text back full sentences, and somebody could text you a whole thing on this.
Was that a phone? Was the beeper a phone essentially? No.
No, the beeper was before phones went mobile, and the beeper was you being able to reach out to somebody saying, basically, call me back, and you would leave your number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you said, well, they were mobile. These were the mobile phones.
So right now, even in this conversation, I'd be like, oh, I got to call somebody really quick. And you would just call whatever that number was, and that was your way. And you'd have to use a payphone
You couldn't
or
answer
some sort of a
though. They
landline.
couldn't answer on that end, right? They'd have to beep you back. They'd come in as
Yeah,
a voice
there
memo?
was no two-way. It was one way. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Did you have a beeper, Slater?
No, I did not. My brother did, and he got ridiculed because he was coaching my baseball team, and there's no reason. Like, I love my brother to death, but like neither one of us growing up were in the coolest of crowds, so people were like poking fun at him, and there was some jerk on my baseball team that still, my brother, I think he has some scars that have been quite scabbed over. because they switched out his beeper with one that had bubble gum in it and said, "What is that, a bubble gum beeper? You think you're so cool with a beeper?" And
That's
like,
so mean.
but the bad thing is there's 3.5 years in between us. So he was getting made fun of by people that were like a lot younger, like 12-year-olds were making fun of a 16-year-old. And he was just having to take it. And it's not supposed to go like that. Right. So he had one, but I never did. I actually never had an iPod either. I was one of those people. It reminds me of the iPhone Android competition. I had an MP3 player, but I said there's no way that I'm gonna jump on to the iPod game.
So was it cool if you had a beeper? You know, it was like for me at 26, it was the Razor phones and the right. You know what I'm talking about? Razors were really
thin.
cool.
Yeah,
if you had
sure.
a Razor phone, the thin phones.
I remember
it was
Star
the cool
Trek
thing.
when Microsoft, not Microsoft, when Motorola came out with a Star Trek phone that was about this thin, and that was a flip. Yeah. That's funny that you bring up the rivalries, Slater, because there were other MP3 players, but this is really where Apple kind of just started to really take over the market. Is that they went from computers to now many things that were really, really cool and that looked cool. So,
but you kind of need that, right? Like if there was only McDonald's, there wouldn't be the Burger Kings, the Wendy's making McDonald's, but so they would rest on their laurels. Like anything in life, I always think competition makes it better because it keeps the price reasonable
for us.
Because then it can't go crazy, and it also advances technology because there's a race of trying to be the next thing and getting the patent and making sure that it gets put out before anybody else.
I'm interested to see. So Obi, Oliver's 2, and Slater, your daughter Olivia, she's 4. What are they going to have? Is there going to be something that's going to compete against the iPhone or Apple when they get, the chance to get a phone?
Meta.
I don't know.
I still am waiting for you to be able to hold your head and have a conversation in space with a person and not having to that has to happen at some point, right? Like the Star Trek, like you just, and then it taps in and be like, hold on, Mom, I'm at work. I'll call you right back. Right?
Oh, isn't that a Bluetooth? Isn't that what a Bluetooth earpiece is?
Yeah, but just have it implanted in your temple, maybe.
Well, and that's what Elon Musk was proposing. Elon Musk already has one of these link devices that he's proposing that you'll be able to listen to your own music, your own library of music in your head.
What?
I would still easily do that if I do Apple Pay for everything. You guys do Apple Pay for everything?
Not everything, but I've used Apple Pay.
Yeah, now on my phone. You know what? And I'm so old that now whenever I do it, whenever I pay for something with my phone, I'm like,
I just did that.
The future's here.
I don't know though. See, for me, I'm an old soul where I usually pull out my debit card or my credit card or cash, but I don't use Apple Pay every now and then. But I just worry that you never know who can hack into your phone and get access to passwords and access to all your bank accounts because everything is on our phones. They're on these devices.
Yeah, I say take it. Take all my stuff. I'll get new stuff. Honestly, don't they have say somebody does take your card number and they rack up stuff. Now you just go on the app, you hit 2 buttons and you go, nah, that wasn't me. And then they figure it out. And unless you're banking with somebody that's a joke,
that's horrible.
They'll reimburse you right away and then go, we'll figure it out. Have a great rest of your day. Or
so some of that to me though is it's still a hassle. And here's what I don't like is that there's a lot of times where the other person on the other end doesn't get busted. And so on your dime, they were able to go enjoy whatever it was that they were able to get before the bank could shut everything down. I don't know. It does suck. And somebody did tell me, and this is somebody who's very high up in cybersecurity, that he said one of the new forms of people being able to get your phone is that they'll bump into you, this technology where they could just and just copy right to your phone, or they'll just walk right behind you, wait for you to open your phone, and then whoop, and then out.
That's what they say about the Apple AirTags. They can be great and a great resource. I've seen a lot of people post about on social media. They put one in their suitcase when they go to fly somewhere, so you're able to track their bags. But I've had that happen to me before. It ended up just being a mistake, and thank goodness it was. But where people are tracking you on those Apple AirTags, they can track everything.
That sucks, man.
It's just the further we come along with technology, I'm interested to see what what happens, because I have a little bit of a fear of
Yeah.
it, just because the more open we are and the more things that we have access to on our
That's
phones, the
that's
more
why you got to get the Neuralink.
That's right.
So this way they can't steal it from you unless they open up your cranium.
but then they can just walk by and go boop and get the information from there.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
We'll
know,
see
Chloe.
what happens.
I don't know. Sucks being a dumb radio DJ.
No.
We're so tech savvy.
No.
Show that beeper again.
Oh my god. All right, okay, let's wrap it up, y'all. You guys, I mean, I guess we don't have to push our handles. If you want to find out everything about us,
Yeah, we're.
that's where you're gonna find all that stuff. For me,
What if they're not watching?
What if they're listening? We should just go around and
Oh,
quickly
yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
what if we do each other? Like follow my good friend Obi over here at Obi Diaz.
Okay, follow Slater at Slater did what?
And you can follow me if you'd like.
Oh,
At
we left-
Flo
We left
Nelson.
Chloe out. Sorry, Chloe.
Can
Oh, you messed
We would
it up.
never be able to do that, would we?
What?
Oh
People-
yeah, he was supposed to then do me.
Right. He was supposed to do you were supposed to do him.
He was supposed to
I
do
was-
me,
and then you do Slater.
Right. And then I do yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's
Yes.
okay. We'll try again
She's at
next
Chloe
time.
Nelson.
We're still working, all this out.
Radio DJs. I said it earlier.
It's the future.
We have a lot of fun in here.
It's the future. All right, guys, thanks for putting up with us, really. And have a great, fantastic day. How are we doing this? How are we saying? Did we ever come up with a way that we're saying goodbye? And this will change too once Melissa takes up one of these squares somewhere down here. Melissa's gonna pop up, and then Jay, if we could have him in the future, have the whole K92.3 crew. But for right now, it's us three saying goodbye.
We're grateful for you. Bye.
See you.